Hey guys, this is Awesome John 22 coming at you today with another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie 2014 review. Today we are going to take a look at the figure who, aside from Donnie, and even that is debatable, the most radical departure from the classic character designs. Raphael here, the fighter, the brawler, the tough guy of the Turtles. The one that you go to when you want the enemy to be hit as hard as possible, with the only weapons amongst the Turtles' primary arsenal, which are made to be both deadly in offense and defense. The Sais, which are some of my favorite bladed weapons, though I don't personally own a set of them myself. Something I wish to eventually rectify. This guy, and this is going to be a very controversial statement, this guy is actually my favorite of the four figures. His detailing is great. You can see, zooming in, you can see some great detail on the front part of his shell, some great detail in whatever that thing is supposed to be, I guess like a robe or something that he's got tied around his waist. Great detail, again more asymmetrical detail in his foot wraps and his the thigh wrappings he's got there, the wrappings on his arms. And in his actual design, for the movies, you can see, again, I painted his eyes green this time. You can see that his bandana has actually been replaced by a New York t-shirt, a red New York t-shirt. That detail, unfortunately, is not present in this figure. I hear my dogs making noise in the background again. On his shell, on the back, we can see, again, some really fantastic details, some great grooves and creases, and there's like this big scar along it, and shows that he's used his shell in defense during a fight before, which is very, very cool, and seems to be something that these versions of the Turtles do a lot based on the trailer. Great detail, if it'll focus, great detail in the bandana itself, which that red is really bright. It's like, you can even see it kind of reflecting off my finger there. A very cool detail in the bandana, or the t-shirt bandana, I should say, which does cover the entire top of his head, unlike with the other Turtles. Great detailing of like scales in his skin. Great detailing of muscles. In terms of paint and detailing, you can even see a silver buckle there. This guy is really, compared to the others, the best made of the group, and that's partially why he's my favorite. Also because kind of traditionally Raphael is the angry one, but he's also the snarky one, and I'm just a fan of that snarky kind of humor. And based on the trailers, it looks like they get Mikey's personality pretty right, so I'm just going to go out on a limb and say they're probably going to do the same with Raph, and if that's the case, I'm probably really going to like him in this movie. And this look for Raph is just tough and mean and cool, and I couldn't have redesigned him better for this more realistic, more diverse movie look that the 2014 movie is clearly going for. You can see his weapons are silver, though the original pre-release artwork did show red wrappings on the handles, which is not present here. Now you see him holding his Sais between his fingers like this. It is something Raphael will do pretty often. But he can also hold them in kind of an overhand grip and an underhand grip, though it's not quite as strong as the other grips, which are also perfectly reasonable ways to hold Sais. But I like this way better because most Turtles figures don't actually give you the option to pose him that way, and I like taking advantage of it. Again, articulation is pretty much the same, though his longer neck actually means that until you're pretty far along turning his head, it looks a little more natural. It also means, though, that pulling him partially off the ball joint just tilts his head a different way. It doesn't actually rotate it level as it would on the other figures, so it's kind of a toss-up. Still, I think it's perfectly reasonable head articulation, as I've already said. The full 360 in the shoulders, Just like on the others, somewhat hampered by the shell, but you can get around it. Rotation at the elbow and a bend at the elbow up to 90 degrees. And no in and out movement at the hips, but forward movement and rotation and knee movement, though it's all very limited by just the huge, thick size of his legs, which are quite impressively built. All in all, this guy looks like he looks tough. He's not a guy you would want to mess with. One of the things that I really liked about the 2012 series is they actually made Raphael, if not the shortest, the second shortest. I believe Mikey's actually a bit shorter, but he's one of the shorter turtles amongst the four. This version of Raphael clearly isn't, and I kind of thought that was something pretty cool when they did it in the cartoon, making the strongest guy one of the smallest. But this is still a perfectly valid interpretation of the character, and as I already said, it is my favorite amongst the new designs. So I give this guy a very solid recommendation. Pick him up and add him to your Turtles collection immediately. He looks great. Astonishingly, there is nothing I really want to complain about regarding this figure. The look is spot on. He looks like his proposed movie designs that we've seen in trailers and artwork. Paint is great. Detailing is great. Fewer variations in paint scheme, I think, on this guy than on the others, but that really works to his advantage. There's still just as much detail, and they don't have to skimp on paint applications because there aren't as many varieties of color to work from. And while I really like the variety present in the designs of the other figures in this line, in terms of color, variety in terms of detail is just as viable, and I think makes this figure look just as good, if not better, than any of the others. Though if I had to complain about anything, it would be that, just like with Donnie and Mikey, this guy has no weapon storage, which again kind of bums me out. For a size comparison, here he is with our last figure that we reviewed, Michelangelo, over here on the left, and the leader of the Turtles, Leonardo, on the right. You can see he is about as tall as Leo, but he's a little more, hunched over at the shoulders, and he is a bit, well, not a bit, he is quite a bit bulkier. He's a much bulkier figure, though, to be fair, Leo looks more well-rounded athletically in terms of build. So, just like with Mikey, Donnie, and Raph, I really think that Raph compared to Leonardo is absolutely reasonable and makes perfect sense. And that's really it for this review, guys. Once again, I wholeheartedly recommend this figure. Add it to your collection as soon as possible, assuming that you are a collector of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles figures to begin with. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like, subscribe, leave a comment down below if you feel so inclined. In the description down below, you will find a link to my blog, my Twitter, and my collections video. Check out that collections video. If you see anything in it that you would like me to review, let me know, and I will see what I can do. This has been AwesomeJohn22, and I will talk to you guys later.